morning with Yolanda, and we're making chicken fricot. These are the ingredients that you'll need. Actually, I guess it's gonna show up backwards, so I'll just read it to you. We're making a large chicken fricot, so it should make about 12 500 ml jars, and we're gonna bottle it too. We need 3 pieces of chicken with the bone and the skin on it. If you don't have the chicken with the bone and the skin on it, then you'll have to add some chicken broth to the chicken when you're cooking it. And we also need 1 onion, 3 tablespoons of summer savory, 2 large carrots, and those are going to be cut into small pieces, 10 large potatoes peeled and diced, and salt to your taste. So right now we have a large pot. If you can see. Okay, and you can see that we have the chicken with the bone and the skin in a pot. And how much water roughly do we put in there? Just enough water to cover the chicken so that we can boil it. And how long do we boil it for?
An hour.
An hour. Okay, so we're gonna boil that for an hour. We'll be back in a minute. When you're cooking the chicken, we also add the onion, the summer savory, and the salt, but we do not put the carrots and the potatoes in until later. Okay, so this is what it looks like. We put it on the stove, and then when it starts to boil, we turn it down to probably like 5.
See, I put it medium over here.
Okay. Okay, so we boil it, and then when it starts to boil, we just turn it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Yolanda. She's hard at work. She's doing the potatoes right now. Okay, so I just wanted to show you. The chicken started to boil, so we just turn that down to medium heat. And while the chicken is cooking, you can get your potatoes and your carrots all cut up, and you can just cover them with water until it's time to add them to your soup. Okay, so now the meat's cooked, and what we do with that is we just cut it into small pieces if it doesn't have the skin on it, and we put it back into the broth that's in the pot. If it does have the skin on it, you take it off like this, and we're not gonna put that back in. And this one has the bone in it too, so we're gonna cut that out, and then we're gonna cut the breast into pieces and put that back in the pot. Okay, so we're just gonna cook that for another 5 minutes. I just wanted to show you what that looked like. So the chicken is now cut up into pieces, and we have our summer savory and the onions in there, and pretty soon we're gonna add the carrots.
I'm gonna put it.
Oh, we're gonna put them in there now. There, we're just putting our carrots in.
Okay.
All right, give it a stir.
Yep. Okay. That's it. You wanna wait now? 5 minutes?
Okay, so now we're gonna wait 5 minutes before we put our potatoes in.
Yeah. No, the chicken.
Okay, so at this time we put the carrots in, and it's boiling still for another 5 minutes before we put the potatoes. And this is a good time if you want to taste it to make sure you have enough salt, and if you don't, you can add some more. Okay, so we're also going to show you how to do the bottles so that you can can it yourself and keep it on a shelf and eat it whenever you want. So right now what we're doing is we are filling a pot with our bottles, and we're going to boil the bottles for about 5 minutes to make sure that there's no bacteria on there and no one gets sick. So if you want to see here. So we have all the bottles in a pot, and we're just filling it up with water right now. So now we put the bottles in a pot, and we're going to steam those for about 5 minutes. So you can see that the bottles on top aren't totally submerged in water. What we did was we put a little bit of water in the bottles, and the steam will kill any bacteria when it's cooking for the 5 minutes. One thing, if you're new to canning, that you're going to want to have is this here. It's a funnel that you're going to put over the top of the bottle for when you're putting your soups or jams or whatever. Today we're going to be doing fricot when you're putting that in the bottle. And the other thing that you're really going to want to have are these, and it's to go in to get the bottle to pull them out when they're full of water, when you're sterilizing them, and after when you put your fricot or whatever you're putting in there, because the bottles will burn you. They'll be very... Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. What we're gonna do now is add the potatoes to the fricot. One thing I forgot to mention, I'm sure you know this at home, but just in case, When you soak your potatoes and your carrots in water while your chicken's cooking for about an hour, make sure that you drain the water off before you add that to your fricot, because you don't want to dilute the juice that you've already made cooking your chicken breast. So yeah, we're going to put those potatoes in and we're going to cook it probably for roughly like another 20 minutes. Just make sure the potatoes are cooked, obviously. But yeah, it should take about 20 minutes. Side note, if you're gonna make doughboys and put those in your fricot, you would wait until after you put your potatoes in and the water starts to boil again, because you're gonna turn the heat up again, and then you would put them in. So once your potatoes start to boil, just turn the heat down. Turn it down to about 5 and cook them until about 20 minutes until they're finished. One thing that I just learned, if you do add doughboys to your fricot, apparently it helps to thicken up your broth. So that's something, if you're looking for a thicker broth, I would make the doughboy and put that on top. Okay, so our fricot is cooked now. So we're getting ready to do the bottling part. So I just wanted to tell you that these little covers that you're going to put on your jars to do your bottling with, we soak these in warm water while we're boiling the bottles for 5 minutes, just so that they seal good. Okay, and once the bottles have boiled for 5 minutes, you're going to take them out using the I guess I would call it like the apparatus to take the bottles out. So then we're just going to put them on a cutting board, because now those bottles are going to be sterile to put your fricot in. I forgot to mention is when you're taking the hot water out of the bottles, you're going to want to leave that in the pot. That way you don't have to reheat more water when you're boiling your jars that are full of fricot. There might be too much water, so we take a little bit of it out, because you want enough water in there to cover the top of your bottles, but not so much that it's boiling over the pot. Oh yes, it just reminded me, put some vinegar in your pot after before you start boiling your bottles with the fricot in it, because that way your bottles won't turn white. On a side note, don't put the vinegar in when you're sanitizing your bottles, because I've done this too, and your whatever you're putting in the jars, it's going to taste like vinegar. So we only put the vinegar in on the second part when we have the fricot or whatever you're putting in your jars in there and you're ready to can it. Okay, so we've put our fricot in the bottles. So for the 3 chicken breasts and the 10 potatoes and the carrots that we put in and everything, we have 9 bottles. So we put the fricot in, and then after that we put the broth in, but you don't put it right to the top, because you want to leave a little space for air in there. And now we're putting our tops on after we've wiped around where the lid's going to go. So we just want to make sure that we didn't drip any juice or anything like that on. So when you're taking these covers out, you don't need to wipe them off, because remember we soaked those in hot water. And now we're putting the lid on the screw top, but we're not tightening it all the way. So we're putting it on, but we're only going to tighten it later after we take it out of the pot. Okay, so now we're putting the fricot in the pot, and as you can hear, the water is boiling. And let's see if I can get a little bit closer so that you can see. The water has to be over top of your bottles. So now we're going to boil those for 15 minutes. You got a little bit too much water in there, so we're going to take some of it out, because you want it to cover the tops of your bottles. You just don't want too much excess, because then you're going to have a mess all over your floor. Okay, so it has been 20 minutes. So we're just taking the fricot now out of the pot, and then we're just putting it on a cutting board to cool. I don't know if you can see that. And that's all there is to making homemade fricot. So now it's all bottled, so you can just keep that on a shelf. fly cap. Oh, one thing I forgot to add to the video is once you take them out, you can tighten the lid, because remember we didn't tighten it all the way when we put it in the pot. We flip them upside down, and you want to make sure that you hear the pop sound, because that means it's sealed. So if the cap that you put on with the little rubber, it doesn't seal, then you're not going to be able to store it, and you'll have to eat it right away because you don't want to get sick. But as long as you soak it in water, warm water, before you put the little caps on, you shouldn't have any issues. So, and how long do we usually leave them upside down? Like 5 minutes, or doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. That it doesn't matter.
There's some good eating right there. Some good chicken. Okay, so just in case you weren't sure what I meant by them capping, I guess is what they call it. It's down there. You can't push it and it doesn't spring back up. So that's how you know that they're sealed.